Oh man, this place is amazing. Look at this beautiful grand bazaar. Bazaar. Oh, look at this. Oh, we have a Hulk with bracelets. They're useless bracelets. And dinos, man. Look at that dino. Oh, whoa. Mount Venter. I'm gonna ride dinosaurs. Ooh, I can bite. Wow. What the fuck? No. 5 mil, man, the gold. And here we are, Battle for Azeroth has released, and we have a new mount in our midst. And this, well, this is one amazing mount. I mean, look at it. Ah, so majestic. And it does cost 5 million gold. Now, with this in mind, we'll be talking about how to make gold in World of Warcraft. This is the first video in a series of parts that we'll be discussing, because there is a lot to talk about. And it's good to have a goal. My goal is to get this mount. You can have a different goal. You can just buy everything ever that was ever created. But this is what we're going to be focusing on, making gold and playing the game, because let's be honest, I'm not going to spend 6-8 hours a day farming gold, and we're going to look into making this as efficient as possible. And with that being said, in this video we will be talking about the TSM add-on. Well, that's the Trade Skill Master add-on. This is probably the best add-on to have and to use if you want to make gold. Now, the add-on itself will optimize all of your process. It will make everything very efficient and very quick. It does take a little while to get into. You do need to research it a little bit. You do need to start understanding it a little bit, and that's very important, because we will be playing with the market of WoW. And even though we're actually playing a video game, the market is fairly real. It fluctuates, it changes, the prices and the value of items change. So we'll be discussing a couple of basic stuff and how you can set it up. But I highly recommend you look into it, try to adjust it to what your server has, to what your region has, because currently I'm on Draenor EU. The prices that I have for items are going to be different than the prices that you will have for items. Two things that you'll need to get before we start is the actual Trade Skill Master add-on, which looks like this in-game, which you'll need to download, and the Trade Skill Master desktop application for Windows or OS X, of course. Now, the add-on is pretty self-explanatory. We will discuss it in a second. The Trade Skill Master app is really good. Now, what this does is essentially you'll be downloading it and, of course, creating an account and establishing your server and everything. And this runs passive scans in the background on your server's market. So you don't have to have WoW open to get this. This won't take up pretty much any resources. And it will scan your prices so that when you go into the game, all of your items will be updated with their profit, with their crafting cost, with their market value, and so on. So this is very good. Run this and then run WoW. I highly recommend it. And lastly, you will need a Trade Skill Master App Helper add-on. It basically synergizes with everything and it makes all of your process more efficient. Get this from your local Curse add-on or Twitch or whatever you use. Get this add-on as well. Going right into the game and into the add-on itself. Once you have it installed, it will show up right here. You just click it and then you're presented with this big screen with a lot of details. This is not important. You can indeed look at all of this. There's a summary here. There's some like history of the gold that I made, and you can just check that out if you want. But what's important first is the groups section. Now, when you start the add-on, you won't have all of these groups. You'll probably have a default group as such. The group basically categorizes the items or the type of items that you want to sell and what rules you establish for those items. You will essentially see the list of the items that you have in your inventory, and you can just group them. And you can add them to your list here, and this is the items that will be taken into consideration. What we will be looking at is the tailoring part of this add-on. So right now I have included all of the items in the list. These are all of the tailoring items so far that you can craft in Battle for Azeroth. This is specifically oriented towards the tailoring for Battle for Azeroth. Now, once you have the list of the items that you want to sell, they can be professions, they can be transmog items, they can be junk, whatever you want. We're talking about the profession section right now, since most people already have professions. Most people might want to make money with that profession. Now, once we have all the add-ons, we will need to establish rules. How does this add-on think that they are worth it? Or how does it calculate that they're profitable? And how much profit do you actually want from a specific item? So we will be talking about auctioning items, because that's what you're going to do. You're not just going to sell them at the vendors. So you're going to have the auctioning tab right here. Again, this is all that you will have after you've edited it. You'll probably just have one operation here. Let's say we want to make money with tailoring. So we're going to make an auction, and you will say whatever you want to name it. I want to make money with X, whatever you want, right? I already have one of those already created, and that's crafting tailoring for money. And once you have an auctioning operation created, you'll have this screen right here. What's important is that you want to associate your crafting tailoring for money with the group, with the tailoring group that you just had. So I have BFA tailoring, right? Normally you won't have anything here. You just click on BFA tailoring and it will associate it with that group. Now you want to establish rules for this operation too, so you can calculate and make everything very efficient. Let's say the items that I want to craft with tailoring will only be posted for 24 hours on the auction house. You can change this for whichever period you want. I want to always post a maximum of 5 of each type of item. And I want to post the stacks for one. Of course, if you're going to auction food or flasks, they can come at different types of stacks, 5, 10, 20, 200, whatever you want. Now, you can also allow partial stacks. If let's say you have 18 flasks instead of 20, you can also post the 18 flasks as well. And if you want to keep a certain amount of items in your bag without auctioning, you can keep that as well. I recommend just leave it as it is. Now, a very important section. Set bid as percentage of buyout, that's fine, just keep it at 100%. The undercut amount. Now, what does undercutting means? Undercutting is when you try to sell an item, somebody already is selling that item, but you want to sell it with priority. So you want your item to show up before that guy. So let's say I sell a bag for 100 gold and you want to sell the same bag. But if you put 100 gold, then ours will get mixed and you're not 100% guaranteed that yours will show up first, so that whoever wants to buy the bag will buy yours first. So you're going to want to undercut me, and that means you're selling it with a smaller price. Now, the undercut means that 1 copper here means that you will be selling it with 1 copper difference than me, meaning yours will be 1 copper cheaper. That means 99 silver and 99 copper. Now, the reason why this is important is that I know it might sound scummy and icky if you just sell with 1 copper. Oh, I'm just selling it with 1 copper, it's almost the same price, but I would just want mine to be first. This is actually what you want to do, because the lower amount that you'll be undercutting with, the higher the value of the item will remain overall in the auction house. The more you undercut with, the more you devalue that item, and the more you're going to make that market go to shit. So please, don't let the market go to shit. Don't be the reason why on your server bags don't sell because everybody's selling them for 2 gold or whatever the fuck the amount is. So it might look scummy, but keep it as 1 copper. That's really good. That keeps the value of the item as much as possible, and they keep selling for a proper amount, so everybody can make a profit. Now, going further down to what you want your items to be worth. So you'll have a minimum price for an item that you want to sell, a maximum price, and then a normal price. Normal price is just something that the add-on calculates for you. You don't really want to change this. The minimum price, this is something that you can edit. You can either keep it as default as the game wants, or you can edit it as you think would work for your server. I have a very, very standard pricing. You've probably seen this across the internet. You'll find different people use different strings of pricing. You can choose which one works for you. You can adapt it as you wish. So for instance, for the crafting one, I have the value of crafting. I want the minimum profit to be 110% of the crafting cost. This is just the formula for it. And if somebody's selling, or if the auction house is selling this item for lower than my minimum price, I will just choose to not post that item. I don't want to be at a deficit when it comes to profit. Now, the maximum price, I've personally set it up as 5 times the crafting price. If somebody is selling for more than that, so let's take a look. Let's say this item, the crafting cost of it is 318 gold, as you can see in the tooltip, well, pretty much closer to the bottom, is 318 gold crafting cost. If somebody sells this for 6 times that amount, so that would be almost 2000 gold, then I won't sell it for that. I'll sell it for 5 times that, which is about 1.5k gold. This is something that you can change. You can just leave it as it is as the game processes it. And if somebody's selling for more than the maximum price that I have established, I will post it at my normal maximum price. Normal price, like I said, you just keep it as it is. And this is essentially it. You just want to make sure that you apply this to the BFA tailoring. And when you finished editing whatever prices you have or you want, you go to your BFA tailoring and you go to group operations, and you want to make sure auctioning, when it comes to auctioning, you want to take into consideration the crafting tailoring for money. Well, that's the name that I gave to my operation. And this is as far as auctioning goes. By setting this process up, when you go to your auction house, the add-on will calculate and will give you the best prices and will tell you what to sell, and it will automatically calculate the best price for you. So you can just click a button and sell it instantly. You don't have to research to make graphs or whatever, pie charts, whatever the fuck you want to do. Just use add-on. It optimizes everything that you want to do. Now, let's say you're going to make money with a profession. You'll essentially want to craft things. Now, what do you craft? What is efficient for you to craft? This is where the crafting operation comes into place. And we have a crafting operation for BFA tailoring as well. Now, when you once you create a default operation that's new, you'll see these details out, and I essentially left them as it is. You can, of course, change them. So for my tailoring operation, my crafting tailoring operation, I want my items to be crafted only if they can bring me at least 100 gold in profit. If the profit is less, the add-on will not add my items to be crafted, so I'll just ignore them until, of course, their profit reaches 100 gold or more. And that's actually it. You can choose how much you want to restock. Minimum, you can always restock for at least one, and you will have a maximum restock quantity of 3, so which means that you will always have a maximum of 3 of each. As you can see, I have 3 Tide Spray bracers, whatever, because I've set it up to a maximum of 3. You can set up to more, but I ideally would recommend you keep it at 3, since you only want to sell about 2 or 3 at a time, so that you're 100% guaranteed that it will sell. You don't want to overcrowd the marketplace with a specific item so that it won't sell and you get it back and then you repost it and then waste gold on posting fees. Plus, it's a little bit harder to manage the more items you have. And that's basically it. This is for the crafting, and these are the 2 main operations that we'll be looking at today: auctioning and crafting. Since it focuses on professions, pretty much everybody's gonna have a profession one way or another. Now, if you go to groups and you go to BFA tailoring, again, this is the name that I have, and you go to group operations, crafting, you already see the BFA tailoring selected here. If you don't have it, it will be blank, so you can just add it with the name that you wanted to have. And this is everything that you need to do for the current setup. You can, of course, have multiple groups. I, for instance, have one specific for Hexweave bags, and for Hexweave bags I have operations. I have auctioning operations for Hexweave bags because it's posted at different prices. I set it up as the default minimum price plus 200 gold, just because it sells a little bit more than what I have for it, and because the crafting cost for Hexweave bags is not calculated properly. Since this is an item that you craft with cooldown type cloths like Hexweave cloths, the system won't properly calculate the crafting cost, since it's not a resource that you will find in the game. It will something that you craft once per day. Now, once we've set up our profession groups and everything, we want to actually start crafting what it is that is profitable. So we're going to open up our tailoring tab, and it's going to look like this. We're going to go into groups. Let's see, we don't have this here. We're going to click whatever we want to craft. We want BFA tailoring. We're going to click the BFA tailoring, and we're going to go with restock selected groups, and it will make a queue of items that I need to craft based on my criteria. So I only want a maximum of 3 of each, and so on and so forth. I already have a couple of crafted, so I just need to finish up these. Now, it seems like I don't have all of them yet. I have a couple of linen, but I don't have the nylon thread, and I need to get the extra items. So I'm gonna go to gathering, and it looks like I will need to buy 81 nylon thread and 12 linen, Tide Spray linen. We're gonna open up our task list, and it will show right there, and it will show that I need to buy nylon thread, and we get the nylon thread from our vendor. Where are you? So just open it again. There we go. Now, once you open up the vendor and you have the TSM add-on, the task list would update, and you have the little buy button. I click buy, and it buys all of the nylon thread that I need. And lastly, I just need a couple of linen. When you want to buy mats for your profession, once you have your task list open, you go to your local auctioneer and you open up the auction tab, and it will load up in a second. I promise you guys. Let's go. Time's a waste. There we go. It will show up as so. You're gonna go into shopping, and then the task list will change with scan all. You'll hit the scan, and it will start searching for the items that you need to buy from the auction house. And I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy, and you can only buy until you actually fill in the requirement for your profession. So the add-on will actually stop telling you to buy, stop letting you buy once you've completed all the ones that you need to buy. So let's see. So it will take a little while, I'm not gonna lie, it will take a little while. At the beginning it's worth it, so I'm just gonna let it finish. After I've bought enough of the stuff, and actually stopped quite quickly because the price of the linen has skyrocketed a little bit too much for my liking. I'm just gonna go to the mail, and of course there's an interface for this as well. We're just going to open all the mail and get all the linen that we just bought, and we did spend quite a bit of gold. I believe it was about 1,000 gold to buy all of this linen. Now, once we have all the mats, and it's not actually all of the mats yet, but the mats that we will be using, we're just going to craft the items that are in the queue. And now to sell the items that we've just made, we go again to the auction house. Hello, Druid. Okay, now we go to auctioning, right? And we're going to click on the BFA tailoring. So this is what we're going to be using to auction our stuff. And we do a run post scan that will scan the auction house for all of the prices on all of the items that we want to sell with just a click of the button. Once the scan is complete, you'll see the items and what their status in the marketplace is. And as you can see, the linen mittens and the linen belt are sold cheaper than what we want, so they're not going to be posted, while as the sandals and the bracers are actually sold decently, and we're just going to undercut our competition, while as the linen nest we just posted at the normal price. Probably not a lot of auctions on this, probably not at all, which is why it's probably posting on the normal price. So just click post for all of these auctions. It's just gonna confirm, and that's it. This is all you have to do for professions. You have to set it up with a couple of details that I've just linked below. You have to start crafting, you buy the mats, you sell the mats, and profit. And this is why this add-on is so good. This essentially is all that we're going to go into today when it comes to setting up TSM. I highly recommend you set it up for yourself. Select a couple of items that you want to craft, sell, and try to work with it. See how it goes, see what money you make. And we're going to talk a little bit more about other stuff in the following videos. Also, if you want to essentially make a list of all of the items when you go into your TSM, let's take this out of the way, and we're going to go to Hexweave bags, right? We're going to go to BFA tailoring. If you want to get a list of all of the items that you can make with your current tailoring, you'll essentially be using a string that you will be importing. Now, when you want to create your profession group so that it has all of the items that you need in it, you're going to go to Wowhead. This is very good. You're going to go to items, and you're going to add a couple of filters, and we're talking about tailoring here. So I'm gonna talk about, where is it? Source crafted by a profession. Yes, I want it to be tailoring. You can just choose this for whatever you do. We're going to say added an expansion. Normally going to leave this for Battle for Azeroth if you want to do BFA items, but since I already have Battle for Azeroth items in, I'm going to do it for the Legion one. And you're going to do a Legion, and then you want to make sure that you do not include the soulbound items. So we're going to select no, and we're then going to apply the filters. And it's going to give us all of the cloth that you can craft in Legion. Of course, there's a couple of pages here, so we're just going to do the, ooh, this is pretty. And we're just going to select everything like so. Select this, copy it, Control C, and then you go to the TSM main website. This is where you get the add-on as well. And in the actions, you have groups and you have create. You're going to essentially create a group, and you're going to paste all of this Wowhead nonsense right here. and it will generate a string for you. Double click, triple click or whatever, select all of this line right here and then copy it. Go back into the add-on. So we're going to import the string, press the import tab, just make sure that we select all content tailoring, import it right here, confirm. And now when we go to old content tailoring, we already have all of the Legion items already set right here. This is, and we can actually rename this. Let's rename it just so we can have a better understanding. Legion tailoring. There we go. Right. So this will have the operations that I established previously. Where we have the crafting tailoring for money will apply to the Legion one as well. So when we go into groups, to the Legion tailoring, group operations, the auctioning one, I want to make sure that you override parent operations. I will add crafting tailoring for money because that's what I want to use. And when we're crafting, we have BFA tailoring just because it actually applies to Legion as well. The situation is pretty much similar. And this is it for a group. Now, when you want to craft these items, you're going to go to groups. You will have all of your groups here. We have Legion tailoring, right? We click on Legion tailoring. And we have restock selected groups. And now it's going to form up a queue of items that actually provide me with profit. The profit that I wanted to get so that I can actually make some money. This concludes the first part in our Gold series guide. And I'm actually really curious to know what you guys think. What do you guys use? How do you guys make gold in Battle for Azeroth, or at least plan to make it in this sense? And yep, leave your comments down in the section below. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video. Like and subscribe if you didn't like the video, because come on, I want you to like and subscribe. Yep. Thank you guys. See you next time. Peace.